After returning to my late husband's hometown with my daughter Emily and paying respects at his grave, my mother-in-law invited us to her house for dinner. It had been 3 months since my husband passed away, and Emily and I were just beginning to recover from the sorrow. The dinner was relatively harmonious, but as I was tidying up and preparing to leave with Emily, my mother-in-law pulled me aside, indicating she had something to discuss.
I have something important to talk about.
I assumed it was about Tom again. Tom, my husband's younger brother, had suffered brain damage from a high fever as a child. After my husband's passing, my mother-in-law and her family began to rely on Tom to carry on the family line. They frequently sought matchmakers and asked me to see if I knew any suitable girls.
Mom, I've asked around, but there really aren't any girls interested.
I know, but I have an idea. See what you think.
When I heard her proposal, I was stunned.
Mom, are you joking? You want me to marry John, my brother-in-law?
Mom has thought this through carefully. You're a daughter-in-law of the Qin family, so it doesn't matter whom you marry. Now that the eldest is gone, marrying the second son is perfectly reasonable. It also saves our family a dowry.
Look at you! You gave birth to a girl, and I didn't say anything. Now, shouldn't you consider our family's future? We spent so much to marry a city girl like you, and you gave us a daughter. Shouldn't you leave a son for the Qin family?
If you think raising 2 kids is too much, no problem. Jack from the neighboring village is over 40 and still unmarried. We can have Emily adopted by him. He even agreed to give us $2,000.
Enough! She's your granddaughter! Tom is gone, and we won't be coming back!
With that, I grabbed Emily and quickly left the house, driving away immediately. But I didn't expect my mother-in-law to let us go so easily. Jane knew Linda was not someone who would give up easily. So, in the days following their return from her house, she kept her daughter by her side at all times. But what Linda did next— If it weren't for my light sleep after having a child, I wouldn't have noticed someone sneaking into my room and getting into my bed. At that moment, I grabbed the alarm clock from the bedside table and smashed it onto the person's head. After hearing an ouch, I turned on the bedside lamp. John. There he was, shirtless, holding his head. At that moment, I understood what had happened. A surge of anger rose within me. I opened the door and saw my mother-in-law. The living room light was on, and she was sitting on my sofa, legs crossed, eating sunflower seeds. Bags and packages filled half the living room.
How did you get in here? I was shaking with anger.
This is my son's house. Why shouldn't I have a key? She glanced at me. Now that I'm here, I'll be in charge of everything in this house. I'm tired of living in the countryside. It's time to experience city life. I see this place has 2 rooms. Perfect, I'll take one, and you and Tom can share the other. As for Emily, she can stay with you for now. When you have another child, she can sleep in the living room.
Enough!
I was furious, cutting her off.
Linda, you really don't see yourself as an outsider. This is my house. Take yourself, your foolish son, and all this junk, and get out.
I turned around, dragged John out of the room, opened the front door, and threw one of the bags outside. At that moment, Linda lost her temper. She rushed towards me, raising her hand to slap me. I blocked her with my hand, and she fell to the ground with a thud. Linda acted as if she had suffered a great injustice and started wailing loudly.
Everyone, come and see! The daughter-in-law is hitting her mother-in-law! Help, someone!
Her cries quickly drew a crowd from the hallway. Seeing the scene, many people started pointing and whispering.
TSK. How can a daughter-in-law be like this?
Exactly. Kicking an old lady out in the middle of the night. So heartless.
Watching this scene, I turned back to the room, and when I came out again, I had the property deed in my hand.
Did you contribute any money for this house? When John married me, he neither asked you for a dowry nor for a diamond ring. Knowing your family's situation, we didn't even have a wedding, just a simple meal with relatives. Did we ever spend any of your family's money?
I opened the deed and looked at Linda, my eyes filled with anger.
And this house, it was my parents who bought it as a dowry. They paid the down payment, and my parents have been helping with the mortgage. Look closely, the names on the deed are my parents and mine.
I laid it all out, not holding back.
After John passed away, I believe I fulfilled my duties as a daughter-in-law. I paid your monthly living expenses, and I visited you every week. And you, look at what you've done.
I could barely contain my rage.
You want me to remarry your other son, who isn't all there, sell my daughter to an old bachelor, and you even sneaked into my house in the middle of the night and had your son climb into my bed. Is this even human behavior?
Old lady, you're really going too far.
Today I've seen it all. Sis, don't worry. Let her make a scene. We'll watch.
Shut up. You're all in on this. Bullying an old lady. Gossiping will rot your tongues.
Seeing the tide turn, Linda's face fell. She stopped pretending, stood up, and gave me a vicious look.
You just wait, this isn't over.
She then grabbed John, dragging their bags, and tried to leave.
Did I say you could go?
I blocked their way and then took out my phone, dialing 911.
We should go to the police station and clear things up.
What's the point of calling the police? This is a family matter. The police can't interfere. Linda yelled as she saw me calling the police, trying to leave, but was stopped by the neighbors. The police arrived quickly. With their arrival, the previously noisy hallway suddenly became serious.
Who called the police?
At this moment, the neighbor Mary raised her hand and pointed at me.
Officer, it was this young lady who called the police. This old woman brought her son to the young lady's room in the middle of the night. It's outrageous.
Mary glanced at Linda sitting on the ground and then looked at the police officer. Before the officer could speak, Linda, sitting on the ground, rolled up her sleeves and glared at Mary with eyes full of rage.
You old hag, don't talk nonsense. Did you see it with your own eyes? Spreading rumors will bring you bad luck.
How can you talk like that? You crazy woman.
Officer, please arrest this old woman. She sneaked into her daughter-in-law's room in the middle of the night. It's shameless.
Exactly, and now she's making a scene here. It's disgraceful.
Everyone started talking at once, and the scene became chaotic.
Enough! Everyone, quiet down! Let the person involved explain the situation to me.
With his shout, the noise gradually subsided. He walked up to me, indicating that I should explain what happened.
I recounted the whole incident and pointed to the surveillance camera in the hallway. The camera should have recorded everything. You can check it.
The officer understood the situation and looked at Linda, who was still making a scene on the ground.
I understand the situation now. Please come with me to the police station for further investigation. Let's not disturb the neighbor's rest.
I won't go. Why should I go?
The officer, a bit helpless, stepped forward to pull her up. But before he could touch her, Linda started shouting.
Oh no! The police are hitting me! bullying an old woman from the countryside. You city folks are ganging up to bully a rural person.
My badge number is XXXXXX. This entire process is being recorded by my body camera. You can file a complaint against me after this is over. But for now, I warn you, if you continue to resist and disrupt law enforcement, we will take mandatory measures.
Everyone present was stunned by the officer's sternness. Linda didn't dare to make a sound, like a chicken doused with cold water. I followed the officer to the police station. With the video evidence and neighbors as witnesses, and Linda's disruptive behavior during the police mediation, she was detained for 7 days for causing trouble. John, due to his intellectual disability, was not held legally responsible and was sent back to his rural home by the police that night. I thought Linda would stop bothering me after this ordeal. But I soon realized things were far more complicated than I had imagined. The 7 days of detention passed quickly. That day, Sophia went to work as usual, but as soon as she arrived at the company entrance, she saw the lobby filled with people. Her mother-in-law was causing a scene among the crowd.
Is that Sophia's mother-in-law?
She has the nerve to cause trouble at the company. I live in the same neighborhood as Sophia. Marrying into that family was the worst luck for her.
I heard about it too. This mother-in-law even wanted Sophia to be with her brother-in-law. It's outrageous.
Exactly. I've never seen such a manipulative old woman. And to think Sophia used to send her money every month from her salary.
Hearing her colleague's words warmed Sophia's heart. After her husband passed away, she had to raise her child alone, thanks to the support of her colleagues and neighbors. Taking a deep breath, she was about to step forward to stop this farce.
Sophia, don't worry about this. I've already notified the property management.
Linda saw Sophia at that moment and immediately started shouting, as if she had suffered a great injustice.
It's her! After my son passed away, she abandoned me, an old woman, and took over my son's property. My son is gone, and she took everything. She doesn't even give me any support. A 60-year-old woman wronged and left without a home. It's a sin.
Sophia was about to argue back, but the supervisor shook his head, signaling her not to get involved.
Get this troublemaker out of here. If she comes back, call the police. And the rest of you, stop watching and get back to work.
As the situation seemed to settle, Sophia's colleagues headed to the elevators, with a few even pulling her along. As she walked towards the elevator, she could still hear Linda's voice, hoarse and desperate.
Poor me, my son just got buried, and this vicious daughter-in-law took over the house and threw me out. There's no justice.
The voice grew fainter. Sophia returned to the office with her colleagues, and when the supervisor came up, he called her into his office.
I sympathize with your situation, Sophia. It's troublesome, but I hope you can resolve it quickly and return to work. If needed, I can help you find a lawyer.
After a brief conversation, Sophia returned to her desk, only to see several colleagues leaning against the windows, looking down. Through the glass, she saw Linda holding a photo of her late husband, kneeling at the company entrance, crying and seeking justice. It was working hours, and a crowd quickly gathered at the company entrance. Some passers-by, unaware of the truth, expressed their indignation on her behalf. A few even started live streaming the scene. Sophia never imagined how quickly the situation would escalate. Linda's tearful video went viral online, and countless media outlets began to criticize her harshly.
Treating the elderly well is treating yourself well. How can this daughter-in-law not feel bad if she faces the same situation when she gets old?
Young women are so heartless. She probably has someone else outside already. She's simply inhumane.
Everyone, let's expose her. I'll pay for this poor old lady's legal fees.
The online condemnation was relentless. After 2 days, the situation only intensified, and even a TV station interviewed Linda.
We are a simple rural family. My son worked for years and saved up to marry a wife, but who knew she would be so ungrateful? My son had a hard life, passing away in his 30s. That ungrateful woman took my son's house and didn't give me a penny. Poor me, an old woman in her 60s, with a young son and nowhere to go.
As Sophia was checking her phone, an unknown number called. She instinctively answered.
Yes, who is this?
How can you treat your mother-in-law like this, you ungrateful woman?
Bang! She hung up before the caller could finish, but her phone kept buzzing with notifications. Seeing the endless stream of unknown numbers, she decided to turn off her phone. That night, people started throwing stones at her windows and even placed a wreath at her door. Emily was so scared she couldn't sleep and kept crying.
I can't stay passive any longer. Otherwise, they will only become more aggressive.
The power of the internet is terrifying. I knew that to completely turn the situation around, it wouldn't be as simple as calling the police and explaining. To resolve this matter thoroughly, I needed a larger audience. I needed everyone to see what kind of person Linda really was. After much hesitation, I contacted my company's supervisor. Our company is a media and e-commerce firm. Although not large, we have established connections across various channels and are somewhat well known in the industry. The company is currently in a growth phase, and the attention from this incident could not only help me turn the tide but also potentially boost the company's performance.
The bullying mother-in-law incident is gaining a lot of attention. What do you suggest we do?
We should clarify the incident through the company's live streaming platform. Also, we managed to get a popular legal blogger to assist you.
In the following days, under the lawyer's guidance, I began collecting evidence. From the house purchase contract and my parents' transfer records to the ongoing support payments after my husband's passing, and even the surveillance footage of Linda causing trouble and the police's responsibility determination report. All the evidence was complete. The company started warming up the live stream, subtly focusing on the bullying mother-in-law incident to generate topics. In less than a week, the topic Sophia will go live with a popular legal blogger on the 20th at 8 p.m. to clarify the incident pushed the bullying mother-in-law incident to the peak of live stream anticipation. On the 20th, even before 8 p.m., the usual 1,000 or 2,000 viewers in the live stream had turned into tens of thousands. Netizens were eagerly waiting to criticize me. Sophia stood in the living room, facing her mother-in-law, Linda, who wore a stern expression.
Look at you! You gave birth to a girl, and I didn't say anything. Now, shouldn't you consider our family's future? We spent so much to marry a city girl like you, and you gave us a daughter. Shouldn't you leave a son for the Qian family?
What are you saying?
If you think raising 2 kids is too much, no problem. Jack from the neighboring village is over 40 and still unmarried. We can have Emily adopted by him. He even agreed to give us $2,000.
Sophia's eyes reddened, her body trembling. She couldn't believe the words coming from her mother-in-law's mouth.
Enough! She's your granddaughter! Tom is gone, and we won't be coming back!
Grabbing her daughter Emily, Sophia rushed out of the house, driving away immediately. But she didn't expect her mother-in-law to let them go so easily.
You shame!
Early the next morning, I went to my daughter's bedside to wake her up. Looking at her soft, fair face and her pretending to sleep act, she was simply adorable.
Wake up, sleepyhead.
The sleepyhead isn't awake yet. The sleepyhead doesn't want to get up.
My daughter snuggled into my arms, acting spoiled. Although life has many hardships, it also has many sweet moments. After sending my daughter to school, I lovingly told her to behave and promised her a big surprise today. In the afternoon, I prepared her favorite dishes like cola chicken wings and fries, and on the way to pick her up, I also got a custom-made frozen-themed cake. She would definitely love it. Children were coming out of school one after another, but I didn't see my daughter even after waiting for a long time. Anxious, I approached her teacher to ask, and what she said struck me like a bolt from the blue.
Her grandmother came around 2 or 3 in the afternoon to take her out for her birthday.
The cake in my hand slipped and shattered into pieces. The teacher, seeing this, asked me what was wrong. I forced myself to stay calm and weakly waved it off, saying it was nothing.
Emily must be fine. After all, she is Linda's own granddaughter. She must be fine.
I frantically took out my phone and dialed Linda's number over and over again. But all I heard was, "The number you have dialed is currently unavailable. Please try again later." Staggering, I felt as if all the strength had been drained from my body. Trembling, I dialed the police.
Hello! Officer, I need to report a missing person. My daughter is missing. It must be Linda who took her.
But the police, after hearing my call, said I needed to go to the station to explain the situation in detail.
Linda is Emily's grandmother, after all. Her taking Emily doesn't constitute abduction, and we can't prove that Emily is missing.
The officer's words left me stunned. The summer wind felt piercingly cold. I didn't continue listening. I needed to calm down, now everything depended on me. Linda had nowhere else to go with my daughter. She must have gone back to the old house.
Yes.
Without hesitation, I drove straight to the old house. By the time I drove to Linda's house, it was already evening. I knocked on the door for a long time, but there was no response, and the house was dark without any lights on. I didn't wait any longer and walked through the muddy path to my husband John's Uncle Robert's house.
Robert! Robert! Open the door! It's John's wife, Sophia!
Robert, looking like a simple farmer, immediately came to the door when he saw my panicked face.
Sophia, what's happened? You look terrified.
Emily was taken by her grandmother. Do you know where they are?
I nervously looked inside the house, seeing my aunt feeding my simple-minded brother-in-law in the main room. I couldn't wait and rushed past Robert to search the house.
Emily's grandmother went to the city to find you guys. She hasn't been home for days. Maybe she took Emily out to play. Don't worry, she's her grandmother. She won't lose the child.
Most of the elderly in the village don't know how to use smartphones, so they probably didn't know about Linda causing trouble in the city. Seeing that Robert truly didn't know anything, I hurriedly continued searching the village but found no news. In the end, I could only helplessly wait in front of Linda's house. By the time it was almost noon the next day, I was already in a daze from not sleeping all night and skipping breakfast. In my daze, I seemed to see a familiar figure walking towards me. It was Linda. But looking behind her, I didn't see Emily, and I panicked.
Linda! Where is Emily? I rushed forward and grabbed Linda, demanding to know where Emily was.
Oh. Aren't you quite capable? How come you're here looking for me now? Without Emily, you can finally settle down and marry my son, right?
Looking at her crooked teeth, I felt a wave of nausea.
Give Emily back to me. Where is my Emily?
How should I know where your child is? Why are you so attached to a girl? She'll get married off eventually. Just like you, worthless. You wretch.
I was really desperate and completely lost my mind. Emily was my everything. Helpless and furious, I started tearing at Linda.
You old hag! Give my child back!
If anything happened to Emily, I couldn't even bear to think about it. The old woman didn't back down and butted her head against me. We started grappling, attracting a crowd of villagers.
Crash! In the struggle, Linda's purse fell to the ground. Crammed red bills scattered everywhere.
Jack from the neighboring village is over 40 and still single. Perfect, let Emily be adopted by him and raised as his daughter.
You heartless woman, you really sold Emily. Give me back my child.
Sophia went mad, scattering and tearing the money Linda had painstakingly gathered, kicking her hard, and wrestling with her.
Did you really sell Emily?
Yes. I sold her, so what? She's a burden who gave birth to another burden. She didn't give our family a male heir. She caused my son's demise, occupied the city house, and let netizens scold me. I want Sophia, that motherless child, to learn a lesson.
You're so foolish. That's your own granddaughter. How could our family produce someone as foolish as you?
Sophia, who had been blinded by rage, also calmed down at this moment.
She said she wanted to sell Emily to Jack from the neighboring village, around 40 years old. Please, does anyone know where Jack's house is? Take me to find him.
There are 2 villages named Zhang nearby, and each has a dozen bachelors around 40. It might take a while to find.
Why tell her? She deserves it. That ungrateful wretch. If I had known, you should have obediently remarried my younger son Tom.
Slap. Robert didn't hesitate to slap Linda.
Too foolish. Too foolish.
Linda, dirty and disheveled, looked at her brother in disbelief, her hand hanging down, frowning. The villagers were stunned, as Robert was known as the nicest person in the village.
You hit me for an outsider. Paw.
By then, Sophia had already dialed 911.
I want to report a child abduction, address XXX.
Ha, here we go again? The police can't do anything to me, at most a few days in detention.
Sophia couldn't believe Linda could be so ignorant. She hated herself for not protecting her daughter and vowed never to let such a thing happen again. When the police arrived, Linda was still arrogant and unrepentant, even admitting that selling people wouldn't get her into trouble, boasting that many women and children from Qianqian village had been sold.
Many women and children from Qianqian village have been sold, and nothing happened to me.
It wasn't until the police took out the silver handcuffs and cuffed her dark, wrinkled hands that she panicked.
Wait! You can't do this!
After revealing Emily's whereabouts, the police and I drove to Qianqian village, 50 kilometers away from Qianqian village. Seeing Emily's empty, terrified eyes looking at me, I rushed over, trembling and in tears, to hold her.
Mommy was wrong. Mommy is late. I'm sorry, Emily. It's okay now, it's okay.
Since Emily was only 6 years old, the Zhang family who bought her hadn't done anything illegal to her. I felt a deep sense of relief but also profound guilt. Finally, this farce came to an end. Linda was sentenced to 5 years in prison for child trafficking, and the buyer, Jack, was sentenced to 30 days of criminal detention. Linda's boast about many being trafficked led to the uncovering of several trafficking cases. Dozens of trafficked children were rescued from Qianqian village. The end.